We have a 2-day team development day that we're looking at revamping. What are some things your company has done for you? I need something to focus on professional skills and something just to focus on for fun. Also, some ideas for a keynote speaker. So team development. All right, that I've been dealing with that for many years with lots of different companies. Everything from murder mysteries to just going out and to we did this years ago where we took our company to a day camp, right? Where they had road courses and and things like that. And it was a lot of fun. It really was. I don't know that it necessarily builds the team. I think what it does is it gets people more in social situations with people that they wouldn't normally socialize with outside of work, which I guess builds the team over time. But I like the ones where the team has to, the group has to strategize together as a team, because that's what you're really doing when you're at work, is you're strategizing. So if you're going to focus on something that requires strategy. So one thing that we did, probably about 10, 12 years ago, was so when I was in the Marine Corps, we had different courses. We had the obstacle course, we had the confidence course, and then we had this course that, for the life of me, the name is eluding me at the moment, but it was where you had to work together as teams in order to get over certain obstacles, right?
Correct.
And we took our group to Quantico because they had that course set up, and we did that, and it was one of the most effective times as a group that we worked together, because there were certain situations where you would have, a swing here and a swing 20 feet apart, and everything below it was lava, for example, right?
Right.
The ground is lava, right? But the floor is lava, and all you had were 2 boards and a couple of rifles, right? With the Marine Corps, and you had to get across doing that, and it was a matter of taking the boards and positioning them a certain way and using the rifles as a third piece to keep the boards, and then taking the strap off the rifle. And it was that was the only way to do it. But you had to strategize and work together as a team to make it happen.
There's no way for one person to get it done.
And no one person is going to figure that out either. You really have to work together.
Right.
So stuff like that would absolutely be critical in team development, because it's not just about the social aspect of it. Otherwise, just go to happy hour, right? It's really about helping your team figure out who are the leaders, who are the strategizers, who are the people that really are just kind of there, right? And you can see this when you're doing challenges like that. Yeah. Have you done anything like that with your group?
No.
You really should. They're really a lot of fun.
Yeah, we just never needed to. Because
even if you don't need to, it's still something I'm not talking about a corporate retreat weekend, but it's just like a day, take a Saturday or something and take them out.
It's all of this stuff is kind of baked into our company culture. So we've never really had a need to do any of this stuff, right? It's because the way our culture is structured, people just do this because this is what they're taught from the day they walk in the door. Not saying it's perfect, but we've never had to do any of this stuff. Just a lot of them, believe it or not, have done it on their own.
Sure.
They organize stuff outside of work and do these things by themselves. And it's part of the culture that we teach, at least within my business, right? But I agree with you 100%. If you're doing something that is meant to be team building, have them do something where they're forced to work together as a team.
Right.
And if you're on a social level.
And if you're starting a business to do something like that, and I'm sure there's ones out there, but make it remote. You go to them, right? You be the company that goes to the other business and says, hey, we're going to train your team to work together as teams, right? I came up with a game a while ago for a company that I was doing this, the company I was working at. It was at a beach. And so I had 4 teams, and we had 4 decks of playing cards, right?
Okay.
I'm sorry, a deck of playing cards, and I hid all the cards in the sand, randomly throughout the area. And you had to find the cards in order. And the thing was, you had one person at a time who would go out and search for a card of your color, right, or your suit. And the game was, again, it had to be in order. So you had to bring the ace or the 2 back first, and then the 3, etc. Right. And the way they work together is someone would go out, and when you found a card of your suit, you could come back and tell your teammates where that card was, right. And then people could strategize. Okay, we know the king's over here, so let's not go there yet. Let's go over here and look for this, right. That, or the other. That was a really cool game because, again, people had to work together, correct. And communicate and stuff like that.
And remember things together.
And it's a very simple game.
Yep.
It was a deck of cards. You know?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's like that. It's like that match game, right. Theoretically, right?
Right,
like
exactly.
You have to remember what pieces are where.
Yeah, so
it's pretty cool.
So games like that are fun. I love the team development. I love it. I think it's a great thing for.
So
a business.
I actually I read an interesting article the other day that there was a business that was trying to do this, but they used I mean, don't quote me verbatim on this, but one of the things they did is they wanted people to start hanging out in more social settings to actually get to know each other, right? Because the better you know someone, the more likely you are to be able to work with them. So they actually implemented a policy that if you went out with a team member immediately after work, you could bring back a receipt.
And they would pick up the tab.
And they would pick up the tab for up to like $30
yeah,
or $40.
People would be getting
correct,
Kobe
right?
steaks and stuff.
But the requirement was there had to be at least 3 of you.
Okay.
And it had to be, you could only do it with the same team members X number of times in a year.
Interesting. Okay.
And I was like, that's actually ingenious because you're basically saying, hey, go grab someone. And if you grab someone that you don't know, right. We're going to pay for your happy hour, right?
Very cool.
Yeah, it was just an interesting, and apparently it at the time I read it, I don't know what the long-term effects have been, but apparently it was working for them. Like they were happy to reinforce it.
I can see that working. That's a cheap way to do it too.
It's a really cheap way to do it.
$30-$40 for a couple of drinks at a happy hour, maybe some appetizers. Oh God, that's a great way. I'll gladly pay $40 a day to have my team working closer.
I thought it was an ingenious idea, right? But so sometimes thinking outside the box of not what's available out there, but rather what would I really want my team to do, and then design an activity around that.
Yeah.
Right.
Very cool. All right. So there you go. Medical garlic. Hope that works out for you. All right. Let's see what we have here.